What's up, HyperFast Nation? On this episode of the podcast, we're starting a new 3-part series on what you need to do to build a team in 2023. Stand by. All right, today we're going to be talking about the first part in building a team. This is a 3-part series, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and share this episode, all of that good stuff. You don't want to miss any of the next 3 episodes. To give you guys a little bit of background, I started building a team after my first year in the business, and then after about 6 months of doing that, I merged that team with the Carrie Scholl team. We went on to build one of the biggest teams in the world. It was number 4 at Keller Williams. Then we became independent. We're a huge, independent, one of the biggest independent teams, teamerages, if you will. Built that team up to one of the highest selling in the nation. Definitely the highest selling in the DC area for several years. In 2021, to give you contrast, we sold over 730 million of volume. We then brought that team over to eXp Realty. So we've built teams before. This 3-part step that I'm going to tell you is maybe oversimplifying it, but it gives you a good roadmap. It gives you, based on where you're at, a good roadmap to follow, a good idea of what the next step should be. So this episode today is part 1 in that process, which is going from doing it alone to doing it with help, doing it with support. All right, so if you are a solo agent and you are closing at least 2 deals a month, and in some markets, it might be more than that, might be 3. It just kind of depends on your price point and your structure and whatnot. But typically, this is, when you want to start thinking about this is when you're at that 2 deals per month of volume, okay? If you're not there yet, you need to focus on lead gen. You need to focus on conversion. We've got a ton of past episodes on those topics, as well as courses at the HyperFast Agent Academy. You can go to hyperfastagent.com to learn more about that. But if you are at that level where you're at 2 deals or more per month, you're ready to move from doing it alone to doing it with support. So what does doing it with support look like? It means you go out and you make your first one, your first hire, and then your second hire. Right? Who should they be? Well, let me tell you who they should not be. They should not be a buyer's agent. Don't make that mistake. So many real estate agents go out, and the first thing they do is they get a buyer's agent because they're cheap, right? They don't want to take on the responsibility of having a salary for someone else, so they go out and they get a buyer's agent, right? And they don't need a buyer's agent at this stage in their career. What they need is administrative support. They need help on marketing. They need help on contract, help on scheduling, help on emails, right? But they don't want to pay a salary, so they bring on a buyer's agent. And guess what? You have an admin. You just don't realize that it's you, and you're the admin for 2 people now. All right, so you've really made your problems worse if you go out and follow this method. Unfortunately, a lot of people do it. All right, so step 1, go hire a good administrative assistant or an inside sales agent. Whichever one you hire first, the other one is going to be your second hire in this system, right, in this step of the game. Now, a good idea before you go out and make this hire is to write down everything you do in your business, right? Generating leads, open houses, marketing, contracts, email, scheduling. Write out everything that you do. Mark down if you like it, mark down if it's high value. Your high value items at this stage in your career, by the way, are going to be generating leads, converting leads, meeting with clients, showing homes, writing contracts, right? Everything else, for the most part, is going to be lower value, right? It's a lower value activity. So write out the value of it, write out whether you like doing it or not, all right? Then you're going to write a job description, and you want to hand off the low value task and the things that you don't like doing, right? As long as the things that you do not like doing are not the high value items, right? The high value items you need to be doing, especially at this stage in your business, in your team building, right? So write out the list of things that you don't want to do and then build a job description around that and then go hire for that. Now, when you onboard this person, you're going to want to put them on daily reports, right? At the end of every day, you want them to tell you what they've accomplished, what they learned, what they struggled with, what they need help on, at a minimum, right? You can switch that to weekly once you're satisfied with their job performance and their pace, and that normally might be after 30 or 60 or 90 days. So figure out things you want them to do, write a good job description, train them on it, put them on daily reports. At some point, you can switch to weekly. Second hire you need to make, unless it was your first, is the inside sales agent. This is going to be somebody that's going to be on the phones. They're going to call warm leads. They're going to call cold leads, right? They're going to be on a salary plus commission type pay structure, right? Where they're the first person gives you the ability, the administrative assistant, to go out and close more deals. The second person gives you the ability to get more deals. They're going to help you convert more of your leads. You need both of them, by the way, to grow. So as you add these two people, you should be able to take your business from 2 deals a month to 5 or 6. All right. The inside sales agent, just back to that role. This is going to be, someone that has the discipline to be on the phone for 3 to 4 hours a day. Now, I know what you might be thinking is, well, there's 8 hours in a day. Well, no one can be on the phone for that many hours, right? It's 3 to 4 is going to be your max. They're going to use the other hours to prep their call list, put notes in the system, tons of other things like that. So, you need to realize that 4 hours of calling a day, that should result, by the way, in 3 to 4 appointments a day from this person, right? So, probably 10 to 15 a week on average, because let's say they have some days that are more administrative and they catch up. So you can expect, if you're generating enough lead flow, right? Warm leads, database, adding in expireds, adding in geo farming, geo prospecting leads around where you're doing business, you can expect to get 10 more leads a week. And then once you get to this stage, you are going to be ready for part 2. Part 2 is moving from I do it with support to we do it, right? In this we do it stage, which I'm going to talk about more in part 2, you are moving on to actually hiring agents, right? Hiring more buyer's agents, eventually expanding to listing agents. You've basically built the system, right? You've expanded your capacity, you've maxed it out, and you've gotten to the point where now you can add other people. So make sure you stick around for part 2. And by the way, I want to mention this to you. If you're a real estate agent out there looking to join EXP, because so many agents right now are joining EXP, it's just, it's amazing to see how many people are moving from traditional brokerages, brick and mortars, even startups, and they're all coming to EXP for many numbers of reasons, right? The lower commission splits, lower caps, the revenue share, the stock awards, the healthcare, the lead generation programs. When you join, by the way, when you join Carrie and I at EXP, we give you so much coaching, so much training. We really help you grow your business. So people are coming for all sorts of reasons. And if that is you, if you're coming or you're curious about learning more, I would be honored to personally sponsor you. Please feel free to send me a text message at 703-638-4393. Yes, it is me. Again, my number is 703-638-4393. Send me a text message. I'd love to talk about personally sponsoring you at EXP. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the HyperFast Agent Podcast. Please remember to leave us some feedback, hit the subscribe button, and share this episode with other real estate agents that you think would benefit from hearing it. And I look forward to seeing you in part 2 of our team building discussion.